Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Today, we reach a big milestone for me. We're at 2,000 subscribers. I know there are much bigger channels than mine, but to be honest, this is just something I do for fun and never thought it would catch on. So, we're going to talk about past videos and how they look today. There are discussions and links to the full videos throughout, but this is going to show you some of the craziest things on the channel as sort of a rundown. I will bet that there's at least one tool or series that I have done that you probably have not seen before, so stick around and let me know what you think in the comments. To start with, my first love in Minecraft is item sorting. My first video, and it's unlisted so you don't need to go look for it, was a Minecraft item sorter inspired by Seth Bling. I put together 3 videos on this, but I took them down when it broke in 1.13. Yeah, I've been doing videos on Bedrock since 1.13. This sorter was super fun and interesting, but it relies on glitches to make it work, and those glitches get patched constantly. Maybe accidentally, but this type of sorter is not what I would recommend for a long-term world. They're a fun challenge if you're looking for one, but not super practical in any way. After playing with the infinite minecart storage system, I made a really terribly laggy piston feed tape overhead sorting system. It fit 100 shulkers above your head and moved items around using pistons. At the time, I saw some designs for Bedrock using item sorters that had moving hoppers with one item in it. I liked the mechanism and I thought it was Bedrock specific and logically concluded that there was an unexplored space here compared to the Java sorting mechanisms. The problem is that this sort of piston feed tape thing breaks all the time, and the last of my unlisted farms that I did was a 0-tick cactus farm, 1 chunk in size, and again, it is broken, so it is unlisted. I stopped unlisting new things that broke because it does actually harm the channel a bit when you unlist, so if you find an old tutorial that doesn't work, I try to pin a comment these days, but back in the 0-tick crazy days of Minecraft, this farm was one I made. 0-tick cactus is basically useless though. People that smelt cactus are relying on a Java bug where Mojang forgot a decimal point when they set the cactus smelt XP. That doesn't exist in Bedrock. You can test it yourself, smelt a stack of iron, smelt a stack of cactus in a furnace. If the bug exists in Bedrock, you should see the same amount of XP. However, you don't, because Bedrock and Java are different and the farm is literally pointless, so it's kind of fun. Now for things that you may have actually seen. I have a really old video on a single item sorter I put together because the low loss item sorter I was using at the time that relied on a jammed piston was banned on the new server I was playing on due to pending tick buildup. Oh yeah, this is the point that I started playing multiplayer and caring about lag and harming other players I play with, and I had joined Slacklizard's patron world and started playing there. This sorter was the cheapest item sorter that I could find at the time, and it still works just fine. The sorter has been ultra reliable and has not broken since. Countless of millions of items have gone through it. It can leak if you use it in certain ways, but generally it is pretty good and pretty reliable for how easy it is to build. While playing there, I wanted to build something big. I was looking at tools that could visualize 3D print files in Minecraft before I built them to get the size right. I found binvox, and what I think probably was one of the worst tutorial videos of my life for some reason got pushed. T-Man saw this process and came to me with a problem. He wanted to complete a build of his dreams, building a scale model of one of his favorite TV shows, and he wanted it to be big. So he started playing around in binvox. He wanted it to be like huge, 500 plus blocks in each direction. I thought it was crazy, so I wanted to show him how crazy it was by importing the binvox file into Minecraft. And you know what happened after putting that together? We decided to go bigger. We decided we needed to do 750 blocks across. Malenko, T-Man, Big Jock, and myself got after that, and really through building a system through Google Docs, spreadsheets, and a bunch of other really hacky methods, we made this giant build on Slackville. This was all done on Twitch, so there really isn't YouTube evidence, but speaking of Twitch, In March 2020, Slack mentioned on stream his dream is to put an end chest on the wall, dump his shulkers down, and then magically his end chest would be sorted. In the background, I'd been working on a single wide multi-item sorter since my 100 shulkers overhead storage system. I really wanted something that I could just use as a wall of chests that sorts my items perfectly. This comment made me dive back in, and I found a way. After lots and lots and lots of testing and a bit of convincing Slack if he would put this on his channel, because it was something I wanted people to see, and I was really small back then, like 50 subscribers. We actually ended up collaborating and putting together a tutorial that was really, really big for my channel and got it moving. Thank you for Slack for pushing it. It was an early turning point for my channel, and you'll notice that a lot of turning points around the channel are because of Slack, and it's because I like to solve problems, and he finds some really, really good ones. So you'll see that throughout the video. But back to the big builds, there was a group of us playing on a world called Slackville. It was a forever world that we could play on and do things that are stupidly big builds without the worry of a world reset. Maribel, Jade, and I started working on a big wizarding school. How do you keep build styles the same when mixing and two different people doing the mixing on the same wall? This was when Mumbo Jumbo was building the big mixed smooth stone iron block build for his base, and he wore out his scroll wheel by flicking it to randomize blocks. So I wrote a simple auto clicker. I love this tool. You put a string in of keys that you want it to press between clicks, and it does just that. Every time you click, it picks a key from the string and pushes it. It makes random weighted patterns possible and easy, and it can work on multiple people. I put a couple of videos out on this over time. If you are on Windows, you should give it a try. The next thing that I worked on was skin packs. I think at this time in Minecraft, they updated to have quote-unquote trusted skins. I was frustrated by always having to appear as Steve, so I made a simple tool that put the skins in a pack, and you could load them easily. This tool was actually more of a test of the ways I could put out and distribute code. In the background, I was still working on producing that 3D model tool. That would be my next big release. This was a disappointment though. It was way, way better than my binvox tool. However, it got next to no views when it came out. It was one of those disappointing moments on YouTube when you pour your heart into something and the algorithm just ignores it. I need to do an update to this tool to support new build height, but I've not gotten around to it. I also need to fix the fact it breaks with strange STLs and files that are set to be miles across, but that's a project for another video. If you really want to see that, jump down to the comments and let me know. The next challenge I got was from Groova Guy. He said UHC is not possible on Bedrock, and to be honest, the not possible challenges sometimes nerds night me. So Groova sent me down a rabbit hole inadvertently looking into behavior packs, commands, and other things, and I had made the Bedrock's first UHC pack. I shared the pack with Groova Guy in December 2020, and yes, this pack was the first. It was likely not the first you saw because YouTube is strange, but the first UHC pack on Bedrock relied on some things that had to be added to Minecraft that were just added in 1.16.100. Minecraft on Bedrock didn't really have the capability, so I dug in pretty hard. I didn't see it, so I believe that this was the first time that UHC was done on Bedrock. At this point, I was pretty interested in behavior packs, and I saw something on Drathmorg's stream that got me interested. He had spawn-proofing beacons. I talked to Fawn Unicycle and we put together a simple pack that makes per mob spawn-proofing beacons. They were expensive, but they were cool. It was a really quick and fun project. It was just a simple pack. It still should work, but I've not tested it in ages. The next project I worked on was again a problem posed by Slack. He told me about an old thing that happened in Minecraft. There was a way you could put an item in an item frame and it would be huge. We learned that that was patched out, but after talking with Fond again, he gave me some basic pack information that I could work with. It was the start of probably what half of you know me for, Structura. I knew this would be bigger than a normal project, so I reached out to other people to help me test, give feedback. Forest of Light hooked me up with several people from the exploit/advanced automation discords, and we started testing and planning for a launch for this tool. Thanks to all the people who were there and helped to get caught on. It was the biggest thing I had done to date. And special thanks to people such as the old guy and Dr. Av who helped push this out. But while doing the project for UHC, I noticed there was a new tool at my fingertips, an opportunity. In 1.16.200, shaders broke on Bedrock, and that meant finding chunks borders was really hard again. So I started playing with what I knew better in the behavior pack side. I started to test a program that I called plot worlds. Previous to 1.16.100, this would have been extremely difficult to make plot worlds in Bedrock, but now with some of the new queries, pack making like this was possible. So I put together a plot world tool to play with these new queries, but really this was just building up to what Bedrock really needed at the time, a new chunk borders pack. After plot world, I published what is still my biggest video, a chunk border pack that you can turn on and off without leaving the game. Even the old packs required you to leave the game or disable them. This allowed for you to see the chunk borders only in third person and really only when you have certain items equipped. This changed the way several of us played Minecraft. Now we see people flying around with random cubes around them because you just leave a rocket in your offhand, which was something nobody ever did before this chunk pack came out. So if you ever see somebody with a rocket in their offhand, that is something that changed because of this pack. And I am grateful for everybody who watched the video. Thank you. And this is where I started a bigger project outside of Minecraft. My first child was born, and much of my time I used to spend playing games is spent with him now. Little Hatt is what we call him online. He does have a real name, but we choose to keep that secret and let him decide when and how the internet sees him in the future. Anyway, thanks to Fearless for giving me the name Little Hatt to spread on the web, because that's what he jokingly called me as my rapper name. And if you don't know Mr. Fearless, you should check him out. When I was off work and sleep deprived, I was talking with a new friend named Bud AJ. He had been working on some really cool packs in the background, and I had been giving him tips for a few months on how to improve it. He made a HUD mode that doesn't involve a behavior pack or scoreboards. That means you can get several things and do math on them, like my chunk border pack, but giving much more detailed data. For a long time, I ran this pack as my primary chunk border pack because he, with my permission, put my chunk border code in there. It gave speed, coordinates, and playtime without the need for server mod, time of day, yada, yada, yada. I like this pack still to this day, and thanks, Bud, for putting it together. For all of you that are wondering, all of my stuff that I put out is MIT licensed, meaning that I look forward to people modifying it, taking it, making it their own, and expanding upon what I've already done. I love it if people contribute back to the community. That is one of the reasons I do open source projects. After playing Minecraft for so long, sometimes you want a different challenge. I had, during 1.16.40, made a custom Skyblock map that it was a lot of fun to play on stream. It made me want to make a new one. The way that I made it in the past was not accessible to others, so I made a tool in Minecraft to void the world or load the world. This doesn't work very well anymore because of the change in world height, but it was fun at the time. And at this point in my YouTube career, I had been putting out big showcases, but I know those don't really drive views, so I started to work on smaller videos. I made some simple tools to show light coverage on arrows. I did a couple of tricks to show you how to linear place. And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say linear place, you need to go watch that video right now. It will change the way you play Bedrock. And then I played a video called Bedrock Bingo by Fond. Fond, again, was the person who helped me with the spawn-proof beacons pack. But at this point, my love for item sorters caught me again. I made an item categorizer. This is mine, but it's not the best one on Bedrock. It works, and I like it. It's hard to build, so if you're not super into redstone, I would stay away from it. But several people have improved upon it since I made the video. I have it on my list of to-dos to go look at some of the change versions. Around this time, I was watching a stream by Maribel Jade, and she needed a lot of snow. And I mean a lot of snow. And she was farming it by hand. Forever ago, as a joke, Relic and I made a crazy snow farm. And a while back, I had put together some Structura files and had it in there. So I put together a really quick tutorial and posted it so she could get the snow. It's amazing how little things like this just sit on the shelf for months. I'm sure I have a dozen other things that when the mood hits me, I can throw together a video quickly on that just don't feel video worthy. So anyway, if you haven't ever used the snow farm, it is pretty crazy fast and pretty easy to build. Another one that sat on the shelf for literally months was the trapdoor door. Slack Lizard challenged me that one too. We made it on stream, in stream, just goofing off. Literally from scratch, one redstone stream, but I never really liked the bulkiness of the design we came up with there. So when I was happy with the improved design, I put out a video on a 2 wide by 4 tall trapdoor door. I love this door. I think it's super fun to operate, and it's pretty reliable. So if you have a 4 thick wall, you should give it a try on your world. At this point, I want to try some Let's Play series content. I made my first attempt at this. It was the Flat World Challenge. I had played with some other concepts but didn't like them. This tool to do the tracking of items, I really like the tool, but it broke during an update. I have not gotten back around fixing it. It's a pretty popular series. I do want to get back to it as soon as I can, but I have a new idea for series as well that I may move to. I may bring this back. I'm not sure what way I'll go, but let me know what you think in the comments. If you really like the series, let me know, because I am open to bringing it back. While moving through this series, Bud reached out with another nerd snipe. He made a pack that would show slime chunks in a 1,000 block area of the spawn world. It was pretty laggy, but it was a good proof of concept. He shared to me the background information on how this was made for him. He shared a library that had slime chunks in detection in it, or generation in it. I wrote a script to bind this to Python and made a slime chunk pack. This pack was a big learning experience for the two of us, and we really started to dig into how we could do some really cool things in the game. We started to look at how to do things like show us where Guardian spawn spots were, where witch spawn spots were, where iron farms looked like, and other things that are detectable in the world. And this is the start of the Bedrock Technical Resource Pack. It was a very conscious choice to not name this pack after me or Bud. We wanted to name it in such a way that any person could contribute. I see this as a community project, not as a single thing done by one person. I would love it if any of you could contribute to the project. If you know anything about making packs, or if you have something that you can contribute to the pack generally, I would love to update this to do more in the future. One thing that isn't helpful is saying make it support X thing. That won't help. We supported everything we could think of how to support. When we can only support the query position and rotation of the armor stand in the world. This is the start of How Does It Work series, and this pack is a big part of that process. At this time, I did an introduction to Slackville YouTube video, and I do need to update on that. The name has changed to Slackville Forever. Now there is a normal Slackville that is seasons-based world. I really have not had any time to play on that world due to work life and other things, but really you should check out all the people that play there. They are great. I highly recommend watching any of those people play. They are very active on Twitch, and there are a few people producing YouTube content as well. I made a second version of the UHC pack that Mojang promptly broke while updating Game Test Framework. One frustrating thing about Game Test Framework, now called API, is that it's amazing to work with, but is also completely unstable and chaos for us to develop for. I can't keep up with the changes, so it's limiting what I can do in Minecraft. But if this becomes stable, I really do want to make some amazing things. But until it's stable, I'm going to limit what I do using these modding APIs because it just breaks every other update. So we'll get back to that once it's stable. I then put out another tool that broke when Mojang updated. I made a Twitch integration API. It's really cool. I need to fix this, but really I don't want to fix it when they're messing with the API every single update like they are currently. It isn't a complaint about them making awesome tools in Minecraft. It's more of an explanation that the awesome things that we can do are limited by our ability to keep up with Mojang breaking API changes. So sorry for the huge number of cool things that we can do in the API not being done, but I can't start on an item that isn't stable. And if we're to complete them now, they would break in an update or two, and I don't really want to spend all of my free time updating packs. I have been unfortunately bitten by this twice now, and I don't have enough time to develop that and keep moving on things like Structura. After Twitch integration, I started on a fun series, at least fun to make, that was Slackville tries. These were absolute blasts to make, but a huge amount of work to edit. Each episode took 5 or 6 hours of editing on its own. Please do check them out if you haven't. I had a great laugh making them. I should put a card on screen now. What happened in these videos is me giving 5 of my friends a silly task to do in Minecraft with a time limit and watching them scramble and stumble about trying to come together with a solution. And then comparing those solutions to see who had the best, funniest, whatever T-Man decided was the right criteria for scoring. I've been working on a tool to make that editing a little bit faster, but it's not done yet. And I would love to hear what you guys think of getting back to the series in the future. And now for Skyblock V2. I love Skyblock, and honestly, it's my favorite way to play Minecraft these days. For a very long time, Skyblock and Bedrock was either heavily modded or just boring. If you are not aware, the Skyblock packs I put out, they do 2 things. First thing is clear the world, but keep the seed. And most other Skyblock packs are just a flat world that somebody has, thrown a cute little set of behavior packs on top of. They run some fill commands, but it's still just all plains. These are proper worlds with biomes, and you can pick your own seed. And I've made a couple of custom play modes, one where you start off on your own island, one where you die and get a new island every time you die. If you like building farms and you like to struggle to survive, I really recommend Skyblock. You don't have to deal with the mob proofing, but you get all of the other fun bits. I do apologize to the regulators. I have been slacking on updating my Skyblock series, and that's just because life has been so busy, and I've been prepping for family to come visit, and I just got over 2 weeks of a terrifically bad cold flu thing that we had after getting together. It wasn't COVID, it's just toddlers and hand, foot, and mouth. So I'm feeling a little bit better now, and I'm hoping to get back to that soon. Since you made it to the end of the video, I wanted to give you something back. If you start your comment with Butterfingers, I'll know you watch until the end, and you'll get my attention. Also, there are things that I've been thinking about in the future. I may want to pick back up on Skyblock. Bud has been doing some interesting things in the background on my Skyblock pack that I think are really cool. I may want to play with those. I have some ideas for a super flat world or for some super flat what ifs. I have a concept for a new item sorter that I've been playing with. I don't really have enough time to spend on all of the hobbies that I used to these days, so you won't be seeing me join an SMP anytime soon or anything like that. So expect the channel to stay pretty much the way it has been in its history, with chaotic posts, sprints of lots of content, then random dead spots, and then lots of typos and spelling mistakes. Anyway, this is Mad Hatter, and thanks to everybody who has subscribed and made this possible. Bye!